While others were still captivated by the rhythm of machetes and rabbit knives, Lao Hu had already built a thorn-covered hut, an impenetrable refuge that shielded him from the bitter cold and lurking beasts. Not only was his shelter secure, but he had also perfected a series of beggar-style feasts, even achieving the luxury of wild blueberry freedom. Even if a wild boar wandered into his camp at midnight, he could sleep soundly until dawn. When I saw Lao Hu again, he was still on his journey across the world, determined to construct as many shelters as possible before winter arrived. As we spoke, he had already begun digging. A foundation was taking shape. The soft soil was a blessing, sparing him extra effort and allowing the outline of his new home to emerge quickly. With the biting cold of late autumn nights in mind, he prioritized a fireplace. He carved a hole into the wall, used his shovel to mark the chimney's upward path, and dug down from the top of the fireplace. When he reached a sufficient depth, he knocked a log into place, ensuring a direct connection between the chimney and the fireplace. Next, he set out to find sturdy logs. To ensure stability, he anchored a load-bearing column at a corner, then laid a horizontal log to form the foundation. He secured it with rope before repeating the process on the other side. Holes were carefully drilled to hold flexible branches, forming a reliable roof structure. This step required precision. Too much force and the branches could snap. With the frame in place, he methodically arranged logs of equal length, securing them with hemp rope. The mess of loose threads was soon cleared, revealing a solid framework. To make his resting area more comfortable, he built a sidewall of wooden sticks, shielding the space from sliding soil and icy drafts. He then placed 2 long logs for his bed, layering soft dead grass in between to insulate against the cold. Once rested, Lao Hu turned his attention to the entrance. He shaped an arched frame and inserted wooden sticks between it and the beams. When finished, it bore an unsettling resemblance to a tomb. Undeterred, he crafted a mixture of hay and clay to strengthen the chimney, ensuring efficient heat retention. As the sun set, he retired early, soothed by the flickering firelight. The next morning, Lao Hu woke in a half-dazed state, the drafty shelter having made for a restless night. His first task of the day was sealing gaps with thick clay, reinforcing the walls to block the cold and retain warmth. To ward off wild animals, he collected an array of branches and crows, densely arranging them around the perimeter as a deterrent. For the final touch, he constructed a sturdy wooden gate, meticulously arranging and binding sticks into an arched structure. The completed shelter stood firm, though its grave-like appearance remained. With shelter secured, he built a bonfire, set up 2 simple racks, and boiled water. While waiting, he gathered fresh wild fruits, grateful for the abundance of resources that allowed him to maintain a steady supply of blueberries even in the wild. As night fell, he prepared a meal. Slicing plump pork into even portions, he combined it with potatoes, carrots, and onions in a glass jar. Ventilation holes were carefully punctured at the top, the jar wrapped in tin foil, coated in mud, and placed in the fire to bake. With no scenery to admire, he sipped a cup of wild fruit tea, letting the warmth ease the exhaustion of the day. When the flames finally faded, his meal was ready, nutritious and delicious, a perfect blend of meat and vegetables. After savoring the hearty dish, he hung a night light by the door and retreated into his warm sleeping bag, drifting off into a well-earned rest. Another day, another home built. Lao Hu's wilderness adventure continued.